I wanted to ask you about the defense. Strauss put out some stats that were really eye-opening about the improvement in every category and not just slightly dramatic. I mean, this is what you envisioned, isn't it?
We're playing really, really well, Wags, on defense and against some good teams.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw how good Air Force was this past week, what they did there at Fresno State and Tulsa. They had over 500 yards against SMU. And so, our defense, Coach New and his staff, I mean, couldn't be happier, more impressed. But we also know we got to keep going. You don't give mid-season awards, but we're doing a lot of good things right now.
Right. I think, I mean, what he's doing and every opposing coach that we've heard from so far this season has said, they're very unpredictable. You don't know what they're going to do. I mean, is that the kind of the key? And is that what you thought of when you hired Coach New, that you wanted that type of defense that was very unpredictable?
Well, I knew that's what I wanted, but I didn't know who did it, and I couldn't really articulate it. I'm an offensive guy,
Right.
and so as I did my homework, all the arrows pointed towards him, and I knew going against our defense in the spring, we'd be good. I mean, we had no clue.
It was hard to.
We couldn't move the ball against our defense,
Right.
and our offensive staff's been together a long time, and some of the stuff they did against us are like, what the heck was that?
Right. Right.
So we had a hard time figuring out what was going on. So I knew that we'd give people trouble this year, but the way we're playing right now we're playing phenomenal.
You had mentioned on the teleconference, but when you have these kind of results, the players get confidence. I mean, they probably wondered, is this going to work? Da, da, da. And 6 games in, I think we've seen enough of a sample size. And like you mentioned, against different types of offense, an option offense, spread this and that. So it works against everyone you've played so far. But your players must be getting enormous confidence.
Well, I think our kids bought in the spring. I think they saw what we did in the spring. And, when you get a new coach, you kind of look at, okay, who's this guy? I mean, you always got your reservations. But they saw who he was. Not only him, but the guys he brought in, Coach Volker, Coach Downing, Coach Hall, and new Coach Norwood has added a lot to our secondary. Coach John's a really good coach. He's been here. Coach Green, the guys that have been here. It's just
It's all come together.
yeah, it's all come together. But they saw it in the spring, and I think they're seeing what's happening now. And if they just keep working, though, and I guess that's our biggest thing right now. Isn't time to do this. We just got to keep grinding. You know what I mean? But a lot of good things right now.
You talk about guys, next man up type philosophy. In the Tulsa game, you had some guys come in, Jamal Carruthers, who, I didn't realize he had moved up the depth chart the way he has. And he looked doggone good and did some good things in that game. On the defensive side of the ball, you had some guys go out, and Chellen Garnes, a freshman, shows up and had a good game, made a sack. What can you say about it? Does that please you as a coach to see these guys that are, when they're called upon, perform?
Well, really excited because we got a couple guys hurt on the D-line, and also DeAndre stepped up.
DeAndre Williams.
Yeah, did a really good job. Michael Flowers, Chalen, like you said, and really excited. Garrett Wynn, punt returner, is doing some good things. There's a lot of guys, and as you said, Jamel's done really good. I mean, made a big catch.
Yep. Scored a touchdown there at the end. A very nice run. I was watching the highlight today.
So just happy the way we're playing. Guys are stepping up, but I keep coming back to the same thing. We just got to keep going, though.
Right. One last thing for me. It kind of got overlooked in a big win, but I thought a guy that had a big role was Owen White. He changed the field position with some big punts. Can you talk about him? And he just got honored as a Ray Guy Award, weekly award winner or something.
And I always say stats are for losers. I don't really want to talk about stats, but you look at where we're at on punts. And, people are having a hard time returning the ball against us. And it's because of Owen. He's flipped the field. He's done a great job. And the punter is huge because he's the guy that can change the field position more than anybody else. And
he did it.
And right now he's doing phenomenal at that.
Coach was talking on the teleconference yesterday about Malcolm's maturity and growth and development. And, I think at times last year he looked like a running back playing quarterback. To me now he looks like a quarterback.
Yes, I mean, it's all the credit goes to him. Last year, after the Army game, of course, we talked about it. He said, Coach, I'm ready. And for us to get in his mind that, hey, you're the quarterback, that helped him tremendously. But he put all the work in spring, throwing extra days, and then summer, he put in a lot of work. So, again, it's a credit to the young man. I mean, he knows that the position is important for us. He had to get better at it. He put the work in for it.
And I think one of the things that Coach said, it really has impressed him, is that he has the leadership he has taken this as his team. He knows as the quarterback he's got to be the leader, and I think that he's making huge strides in that department. Don't you feel?
He is on now being on the sideline. I'm able to see it firsthand. It was really clear Saturday when Chance fumbled that opening kickoff. So I'm trying to find him out. He comes and runs right past me and runs straight to Chance.
Let's
Grab
pick him
him.
up.
Yeah, hey, let's go. Let's forget about it. Let's move on. So
That's a team leader.
and yeah, then things between that, just between Sears, talking to the guys, talking to Nelson. Hey, we got to fix this. So he's being a quarterback. Now there's a lot of football to be played. Still got dial in and focus, but he's doing a great job so far.
You've talked about this in the past. He's very hard on himself, and I was kind of shocked to hear Coach Nehemiah say that he came up to him after the game and said, "I was the worst game I've ever played," and he rushed for 218 yards and 3 touchdowns.
I mean, it's the little things. Obviously, he made a lot of big runs. Important runs for us, spectacular runs for us. Great job on third downs, on passing plays where it's not there. Didn't force anything. He put the ball down and ran with it. But again, it's the little things. The little fundamental things that we got to get better at. That comes kind of a thorn in his side. So he knows that. It's a good thing.
So he's like Keenan. He wants to be
It's a
perfect.
good thing. He wants to be perfect. He strives for it. And again, for us and for me, just to keep on pushing him, keep on helping him in practice, give him all the right looks so he can get better.
And last but not least, how's Perry coming along? Perry Olsen.
He's doing good, and the kid's working hard, and again, and Dalen's, is improving, but again, like I say, it just came down to, out of those guys, finding a guy that I feel gets the best chance to win and work with that young man, So Perry's doing a great job. I wanted to get him in on Saturday, for a lot more plays, but didn't work out that way. But again, his time will come, like I always do. There's going to be some game where he's going to come and step up for us. I'll make sure he's ready.
Coach Nehemiah was on the teleconference on Monday, and he said some complimentary things about you as far as your maturity. It feels like you've really matured into the quarterback you are today. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, that's part of the process. Hopefully that's what it's come to at this point. I'm a senior now. I've been able to sit under a lot of great quarterbacks like Will Ware, Tago, and just learn from all those guys and just develop into my own game and try to be the best I can.
And I think you really have very much taken the leadership role to heart. Coach just told me, Coach Jasper mentioned about after Chance fumbled, you were the first one to get to him and say, "Don't worry, we'll pick you up." I mean, can you talk about that and how important that is? Because, I know your nature isn't necessarily to be the vocal, outspoken guy, but I think you feel that as the captain, that's your role now.
Yeah, of course. As a captain, it's my role, and I've been in that position before. A young guy, I fumbled the ball. It means a lot. Especially the way we play football. The turnovers aren't great, but early on in the game, it's definitely something that we can recover from, and staying positive is the only way we're gonna recover from stuff like that. So
when you watch the film, were you a little too hard on yourself? Do you think you played not your worst game of the year? You said your career.
It wasn't as bad as I thought, but it was definitely something I need to work on, and I'm looking at those things. So I'm working on them in my practice.
Well, fortunately, the American Athletic Conference didn't listen to your comments because they made you the offensive player of the week. What can you say about that?
It's an honor. It's always nice to be recognized, but like I said, always stuff to work on.
We're here with Jamal Carruthers, who's a sophomore fullback for Navy. And our first question I'll ask you is, I don't know what type of offense you played in high school, but playing fullback here is very different than a lot of what kids you're used to in the high school level. You're closer to the line of scrimmage. Just tell me what the adjustment was like.
So I played a spread in high school, and I came here recruited as an A-back. So I switched to B-back last semester. So it's been quite an adjustment, but I was excited for it, and it's working out well so far.
Well, I was going to ask you, that is a significant switch. Guys don't normally go from slot back to fullback. It doesn't happen often. It has a couple times here. Why do you think they decided to make that move? And how do you like it?
I'm just trying to be a downhill runner and help the team in any way I can, blocking, running, catching passes, anything the team or coaches need me to do.
So getting in the game, you've moved up the depth chart, and all of a sudden you're in the game, backing up Nelson Smith. What was it like on Saturday night?
It was a blessing just to be in the game, and it's just a testament to how hard my teammates work and the coaches prepared me for that game.
So you were the back end of a gadget play in which C.J. Williams threw back to you, and I know I can't imagine what it was like on the field, but I'm in the press box going, is that ball ever going to come down? What was it like waiting there, waiting?
Yeah, it was a long wait. C.J. knew. He was like, I wish I could have got out to you earlier, but I was just ready for the hit and make sure I got the ball first.
And then the touchdown run, how good did that feel?
It was a great feeling. My teammates worked very hard for that play, and I'm just glad we got to make that happen.
So is that a lot of guys that I talked to that play fullback at Navy say that's the hard part is the vision in the hole, but you showed some good vision on that and made a nice cutback.
Yes, sir. Well, that's just how the play was designed. I got the ball, my teammates made some blocks, and I just hit it as hard as I could.
Mr. Strassmeyer came up with some interesting stats this week. The comparison of last year's Navy defense to this year, and it is dramatic, and it's in all categories. How proud of you? I mean, I think we've seen enough of a sample size at this point, 5 games in, to feel like this is not a mirage. How proud are you of what the defense?
I hope not. Yeah, I'm proud. Our kids are playing really, really hard. They're doing everything we asked them to do, and we've got good players. I've been saying that all along, and they're executing our plan. And I think there's still a lot of room for improvement, a lot of things we can do better as coaches and as players. But I'm pleased with the progress, and I think we're getting better every week.
So, of all the stats, what do you feel is the most important statistic defensively? What do you look at?
Well, I think right now we're doing a good job of getting off the field.
Third down.
Yeah, getting off the field on third down, and we've had a bunch of 3 and out, a bunch of short drives, and a little disappointed in our takeaways. Those numbers aren't great, but we are getting off the field, getting the ball back to our offense on a pretty consistent basis. So I'm pretty proud of that.
Is that just an emphasis that you get in the guys' minds that third down is absolutely critical?
Sure. If you come in our meeting rooms, you see the get 6 sign, but you also see third down is the only down, and so our kids know that's critical, and we work on it a bunch. They're very aware when it's third down and what the distance is and what we're trying to get accomplished.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's interesting you're talking about the talent, because I had a veteran coach that said Newberry might find that the players at Kennesaw State were better than the ones he has at Navy. When you got here, did you feel there were certain elements of your defense you could not do because of the talent, or did you feel you could implement the whole package?
Well, I think anytime you take over a new defense and with new players in a system, you got to look at what your players can and can't do, and make sure you're not asking them to do more than they can do, and then doing what they do well. And like I said, I think we've got good players here. I think I'd like to recruit more athletic bodies at some certain spots because of the movement, the things that we do. But our kids they play extremely hard. They're smart and they understand the defense. And so, like I said, we're not deficient here. We've got good players.
All right. Well, I was going to. So, moving forward, though, you are going to recruit a certain type of player for certain positions. You know what you're looking for.
Sure. Yeah, we do. And like I said, again, we've got good players in the system, but we'd like to recruit more athletic at certain spots so that we can run. We got to be built on speed nowadays in football with what offenses are doing, getting the ball in space. You got to be able to run.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, you get the credit. You're the defensive coordinator, but I think, in particular, your assistants that you brought from Kennesaw have helped you install this. If you were just here by yourself, the only one that knew the defense, it would be harder. But you've got guys at other positions that can teach what you want them to teach.
Yeah, no question. Yeah, we've been together for a long time. We know each other really well. I trust those guys. They kind of know what I'm thinking. Those guys could call the defense. They know it well enough, and that goes to our whole staff.
You think they could both be a defensive coordinator someday?
Absolutely. We got a bunch of defensive coordinators on our defensive staff right now. No doubt about it. We've got a fantastic staff, and they're doing a great job.
So if there was one, say you mentioned you'd like to see some more takeaways, is there any other area of defense that you feel could be better?
Yeah, I think we haven't put 4 quarters together yet. We've
really?
played some. Yeah, I don't think so. I think we've played some exceptional halves, played 3 quarters of a game, but we haven't put 4 really, really solid quarters together yet in the game.